This manuscript explores life, death, what lies beyond, all through the lens of classical physics. This process of exploration is a journey in itself, and we have already started on this journey by taking first few steps in our previous sessions. In this session, we'll delve into something really intriguing. We'll delve into the similarity that our physical body exhibits during deep sleep or deep thinking and death. It kind of makes the proverb dying every day surprisingly real. Let's dive into the details. In our previous session, we discussed about the human circuitry and how it resembles the LC circuit. If you haven't seen that session yet, be sure to watch it first. It will provide you the necessary context. When heart stops functioning, human circuitry becomes an LC circuit. In such circuit, energy oscillates between the magnetic field of the inductor and the electric field of the capacitor. Inductor already stored time varying magnetic field. And in the LC circuit, it induces the capacitor with a time varying back EMF field, back electromagnetic induction voltage of same frequency. And that essentially establishes the LC resonance. In this resonant condition, the system behaving like an oscillator with coherent electric field and magnetic field. It's coherent because they arise from the same source and are in sync. And the system becomes capable of radiating energy coherently at the particular frequency range. So this is the circuit that we have discussed before in the previous session, the circuit of thinking, communicating, and radiating. So what happens is in those moments of stillness, when the ECG is showing up as flat for a short period of time, the only relevant part of the circuit is this, the LC circuit. And in this LC circuit, since the inductor has already stored time varying magnetic energy, it starts creating that back EMF voltage. It converts it into an oscillating electric field, and this oscillating magnetic field and oscillating electric field starts building up and starts radiating. But before it reaches to a certain level of intensity, the time period exceeds and the moment of stillness gets converted into the moments of electrical activity in the cardio system. So that that is how the thinking process works, and that's how the thinking process develops a low intensity ELF radiation. Now, what happens during death? The ECG flat remains flat consistently and continuously because there is not going to be any cardioelectrical activity anymore because the heart has stopped functioning. So this part of the circuit becomes completely irrelevant, invalid. So what remains is this part of the circuit. The inductor still has that stored time varying magnetic energy, and this capacitor is also present, and this inductor capacitor combination creates the same kind of oscillating magnetic field and oscillating electric field. And this oscillation has enough time to reach to the level of resonance that can create high intensity ELF radiation. It kind of pretty much reaches to the kind of energy strength that covers the entire energy strength of human biofield. And through this process, this radiates out from the body. The energy radiates out from the body as high intensity ELF radiation. That's the process of death. And it looks pretty similar to the process of dying and the process of thinking. The process of thinking happens in short span of time. Process of dying happens in the stillness of time. Sometimes during the energy oscillation between inductor and capacitor of the human circuitry, a dielectric breakdown occurs. Dielectric breakdown occurs when the voltage across the insulated medium of the capacitor crosses a threshold, after which the insulated medium starts conducting current. The insulation resistance breaks down temporarily. So this dielectric breakdown in the human circuitry results into a seizure-like phenomena, violent shake-up of the body when the current attempts to pass through the chest and abdomen muscles of the body around the heart. And in some cases, the seizure initiates the radiation process and triggers death of the physical body. In some other cases, the seizure revives the heart functioning and circulatory system and reduces the back EMF voltage that got generated across the capacitor of the human circuitry, resulting into revival of the human being. Right. That's how far we would go today in this session. But before we wrap up, here is an important reminder. Life is a beautiful and precious gift. It's so valuable that often the value is incomprehensible in the narrower context of few life experiences and situations. But it becomes comprehensible if the value of life is seen in much deeper and truer context. This effort attempts to capture that deeper and truer context for people who have scientific and logical bent of mind. The scientific elaborations here are basic in nature so that it becomes easier to comprehend. But the science behind life and beyond are much more intrinsic in nature, much more complex and subtle. So use this basic understanding to conceptualize the deeper and truer context of life. But please don't misuse these to carry out experiments on yourself or others. You and your conscience both are far more valuable than that. So we have reached to the point where we have explained death through the lens of classical physics. But death is not the end. We will develop this line of thinking further in subsequent sessions. Keep watching.